You and Your Young Child, a program of information and services available for you and your child from prenatal to age 5. You and Your Young Child has been brought to you in part by Sternberg Museum of Natural History, also by The Dentist.
Stop! Where are we going?
The Sternberg!
Don't get left behind. We're waiting for you here at the Sternberg Museum, where there's always new opportunities for
Discovery under the dome.
Come discover a one-of-a-kind dental center for the whole family at The Dentist. Dr. Melinda Miner and Dr. Michael Holmberg and their warm and friendly staff love working with children of all ages to help keep everyone smile happy and healthy. They recommend children start seeing the dentist by age 1. The Dentist is now accepting new patients, children, and their families. Visit them at 1010 Downing Avenue in Hayes or online at thedentistinhayes.com.
Hello, and welcome to You and Your Young Child, the program devoted to early childhood. My name is Dana Stanton, and I'm the coordinator of USD 489 Early Childhood Grants. And with me today is Monica Ptacek. Good morning, Monica.
Good morning, Dana.
Now, first of all, Monica, tell us what organization you work for and what do you do there?
Okay, I work for the Early Childhood Connections program. I am the health coordinator for their 0 to 3 part of the program, and we work with families prenatally all the way up to age 5.
Now, the reason Monica's here today is about a month ago, she sent out some information to all of our staff at Early Childhood Connections about something that's really kind of a hot topic in the news, and that's the Zika virus. So I asked Monica to come today and talk to us a little bit about the Zika virus. So I guess the first question is, what do we know about it?
Well, there are some things that we do know about the Zika virus. We know that it can be passed from a mother to her unborn baby during pregnancy. We know that if the child gets the Zika virus during pregnancy, that there has been linked to certain birth defects. I'm sure everyone has seen the pictures on the news of the babies with the small heads, small brain development. Microcephaly is what it's called. The most common route of transmission for the Zika virus is from a mosquito. The Aedes mosquito is the species.
Aedes.
Aedes.
Okay.
And the Aedes mosquito is present in the United States and some of the southern parts of our country, so it's quite possible that the infection will spread here. It already has been here, but the cases that are here local or in the United States have been from travel at this point.
Okay.
But I think that they're anticipating once the mosquito season starts that we may have more cases of Zika spread by the mosquito. Currently there's no medication. If you're infected with the Zika virus, it's a virus, so antibiotics don't work. There's no medications really to treat symptoms at this time. So, and one thing that came out rather recently about the Zika is that it can be sexually transmitted from a man to a woman. So men who do business, who have family, who have traveled to parts of the world that Zika is present really need to be aware and be cautious. The current recommendation is that if your wife is pregnant, that you use a condom every time that you have sex for the duration of the pregnancy, because they don't know at this point.
Lots of unknowns. So
Lots of unknowns.
Yeah, which brings me to my next question. Those are the things we know about Zika. What are some of the big unknowns?
Well, some of the big unknowns are at what point in the pregnancy is it worse to get infected with the Zika virus.
First trimester, second
right,
trimester.
you know, there are certain illnesses where they know, okay, if you're past that first trimester, you're okay. But with the Zika virus at this point,
we don't know.
They don't know that. The brain is under development at a very rapid rate throughout pregnancy. So they really don't know if there is any particular time where it's more likely to cause harm. They also don't know at this point how likely it is. We know that there are women who have been infected with the Zika virus who have healthy babies. So we don't really know what the chances are, what the risks are for.
So they don't know 100%.
They don't know 100%
certainty if you have been bitten by the mosquito that you'll have a child who's affected.
Right.
You don't know
So
that for sure.
that is unknown.
Now, what are some of the symptoms? Say that, we're thinking, I think there's been a lot of stuff in the news about this is what happens to a child once it's
Right.
born. But what happens to you if you have Zika?
Well, one of the things that I found concerning is that 4 out of 5 people who are infected with the Zika virus will show no symptoms at all. They'll not ever know that they were infected, which for men, of course, can be a problem if it's sexually transmitted. And you think, well, I've never had it. You may well have been infected and not know it.
Just thought maybe that it was the cold.
Right. So the symptoms are usually pretty mild. It can be fever, the red rash. You might have some mild achy joints. And one of the more unusual symptoms is conjunctivitis, the pink eye.
Pink eye.
Yeah, we commonly call it pink eye. So if you have those symptoms clustered together, you would want to be checked by your doctor.
Now, I would think the biggest part of prevention right now would have to do with stopping mosquito bites. Would that
Right.
be correct?
You
'Cause
are
there's
correct.
there's not a vaccine or
No.
an antibiotic for a
No.
virus. Yeah.
So that is really what they recommend, and particularly if you're a young couple who's considering getting pregnant, you really need to follow recommendations for preventing mosquito bites.
And what are some of those?
People are rather reluctant to do this in the summer, but they recommend long sleeves with
And that's
a cuff.
good for the sun too. You shouldn't
It's
be in
also
the
good
sun.
for the
Yeah.
sun, but it helps to prevent mosquito bites. Long pants, wearing coverings on your feet that cover your feet, so flip-flops are kind of out for the summer. People who like to camp and spend a lot of time outdoors, if you're going to be sleeping outdoors, you need to make sure you have mosquito netting. And the current recommendation is, if at all possible, sleep indoors. Make sure your screens are in good repair so that insects can't get in. And then, of course, using an insect repellent that is approved by the EPA, and it will say on the label usually that this is approved for mosquitoes, ticks, whatever it includes. Always follow the instructions. Apply and reapply as it states.
What about, we always use sunscreen in the summer. Should you
Right.
stop using sunscreen?
No, we
Okay.
certainly want people to continue using sunscreen because that's a very important part of protecting yourself. But apply the sunscreen first and then put the repellent on over that. You should not use repellent. Don't spray your whole body and then get dressed. You only spray the exposed areas.
Okay.
For children, and for yourself as well, you want to spray it on your hands and then apply to your face and neck and ears and all of
all the
those
exposed skin.
exposed areas.
And once again, this will probably be very, very important for couples who are planning to get pregnant
Yes.
or a woman who is pregnant.
Yes.
Very important for them to follow
yes,
these
and
recommendations.
really for all women of
Childbearing
reproductive
age,
age,
yes.
they should be taking precautions. And insect repellents are not safe to use on infants under the age of 2 months. So if you're going to ball games, soccer games, whatever, you need to make sure that you've got mosquito netting for your stroller if you've got an infant, or keep them in the car with you.
Now, what about travel? I know that, locations south of us are very popular for vacationers. A lot of
Absolutely.
us have family and friends that we go to visit. What about travel?
The recommendation currently is if you're planning on traveling outside of the United States, the CDC has a great website. Just go to cdc.gov and then put in countries affected by Zika, and it will give you an alphabetical list of countries. It will also give you a map so that you can check and see, because I know a lot of people have already made their plans.
Plans, yes. Awesome. Well, that is wonderful information. Thank you for being here today, Monica.
Thank you, Dana.
You've been watching You and Your Young Child, the program devoted to early childhood. Parents, remember, you are your child's first and best teacher. Thank you.
You and Your Young Child, a program of information and services available for you and your child from prenatal to age 5. You and Your Young Child has been brought to you in part by Sternberg Museum of Natural History, also by The Dentist.